All right, welcome to the Dune Over. I believe this is episode 4 now. I am Dan, your host, and we are Jenless this week. She had a personal matter come up. She might be in the chat commenting or correcting us on some things.
Hopefully.
So, joined as always on our panel, we have Sid at Cartoon Sid, and we have Cinia at Cinia Reads, who your podcast just got released finally.
Yeah, it just launched Thursday night, and it's very exciting. If you want to know anything about anime, if you want to just check out some pals watching anime together, go check out Is That a JoJo Pod, and it's on Spotify.
I was about to ask you if this was a specifically JoJo podcast.
Oh yeah,
I should have known.
Yeah.
So when are we starting our Evangelion one, where we just start like?
No,
I don't think it's the right time in the
breaking
world.
down the metaphysical concept of.
Now.
I think Shinji can cause third impact, but I don't think we can inflict that kind of pain on others right now, though.
He's got
Bring it
four
on.
now. Fourth impact.
Fourth.
Oh yeah, in the 3.33 and 2.22, he did it again.
He does it twice in one movie.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Still waiting
Like,
for 4.44.
But like, if you're watching Rebuild, you probably saw the first one, so you probably saw the original series, so you probably already know. Like,
but it has my favorite crazy person in the new series, Mari.
She belongs in Danganronpa and not in Evangelion, and I firmly believe in that. I like her Evangelion design though.
Yes. Oh god, what was it? Was she's like, she's smelling the liquid on him?
Oh yeah, the LCL. She's
the womb juice, baby.
Yeah. Yes.
She's drinking the Tang.
She's like, I smell the LCL on you.
It smells like mom.
So to the thing that we're here for. Dune, we read chapters 9 through 14, which, funny enough, Jen is the one who committed us to this, and she's not here.
You know, it kind of seemed like a lot when I went to go read it today, but then it was like so good that I just like flew through it.
Big Duke energy.
Sydney texts me, she goes, I think I'm in love with the Duke now.
I read it and I was like, oh, this was like exactly what I needed, like, right? In that reading. I was like, oh, that's, and it's like Oscar Isaac is in my head too.
That's what I was about to ask. Were you picturing Oscar Isaac saying those words?
Yes, very much so.
Welcome, Sydnia. Join me here in the Sin Pit.
Sin Pit. I had to stop putting tabs in here because this edition has like really awful like inking. Yes. So like I've never encountered this, but like I don't know if it could even. No, it's not going to capture it. Shoot. Oh, actually, maybe if I do this, maybe. No. Anyways,
I believe you, but I see nothing.
Anyways, it like lifts like the ink off of the page. That I just realized that, so I guess I can't sticky tab it. I've never encountered that problem before, and I'm pretty upset.
And sticky tab it, but you just have to leave it there for all eternity.
Yeah.
So that you never remove
So I have a question. Which one of you is the wife and which one's the concubine at this point?
There is no wife. There is no wife.
Well, he doesn't have two concubines, so, you know, who's the political wife?
I would never want to be his political wife because he seems pretty depressed about it. And that doesn't make me happy.
There was a lot of depression chapters with him in it. Like
he's a very unhappy man.
He knows better than anybody.
The tired eyes that they keep talking about.
Yeah, he has to keep schooling his face every time he walks into a room.
Yes.
There is a quote that like perfectly embodied that I like. Wait a second, that I highlighted, and now I don't have tabs, so I can't just find it. That's so annoying. Anyways, when I find it, I'll let you know.
There was one thing where he's like stroking the crest of his hawk, and he's like, "I'll have my talons out."
Yeah. It's on the list. Yeah. He has to rule now with eye and claw like a hawk among lesser birds.
Yes. And we had a couple of moments of like his disdain towards people when he's talking to them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I found it.
Which just riles me up.
Let's see. He said, all that faith riding on your shoulders while you sit in the critical seat and never show it. I like excuse me. Like, sir, you're so emo. But also, he has a lot of stuff. He's like literally on his metaphorical deathbed, and
He's
he
going
knows
through it.
He like knows he's gonna die. It's like kind of upsetting.
There's that moment where he goes, "When I die, I'm going to die on this planet."
Yeah. He said, "Oh man, it'll take me forever to find it because I have this stupid ebook."
It's when the morning's coming up and he's going,
yeah,
"This isn't so bad," and all of a sudden the thresher comes in and pounds all the flowers down. He goes, "I hate this planet."
But he's saying like, even though this planet is like, he says something like, a place for me to come to die. He's like, maybe it could be a good place for Paul. And then, the machinery comes through, and he's like, fuck.
He's the same, like, oh, fuck this place. I hate it.
Yeah, I was not expecting such a, like...
It's philosophical.
So far, it's been very back and forth with, like, jumping in between characters, but this was all very Duke-centered. And, like, even though we did get, like, some shifts in perspective...
you were basically new guy. You're on chapter 14. Like, depending on the edition.
It depends on which talk he's talking about. Paul talks to the Duke on 2 separate occasions in this chunk.
And then Fear comes in and talks to the Duke. They're in that room, and that's the letter.
I'm just saying that Paul talks to the Duke on his own, both before and after the meeting. So either one of those talks could be that one.
So we get an assassination attempt on Paul.
Yep, with a hunter seeker.
Yes. I had a really hard time visualizing what a hunter seeker would look like because it sounded like an animated like arrow to me when I was reading it.
So do you remember in Attack of the Clones that kind of drone thing that came in to try and kill Padme?
That was much bigger than I think this is.
Yeah, it's bigger. Like, it would be somewhere between that and the Quidditch ball. The snitch. Somewhere in between that.
Like a golden snitch. I always pictured it as kind of just like...
a dart almost.
Like a dart, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean by like a small arrow that like had an eye on it.
It's being steered by someone.
Yeah.
Which they really
detect, like,
put the tension on of who could it be?
Yeah.
Is it shut out Mapes?
It was some dude that's been in a barrel for like 3 months.
Yeah. Also, like anyone who so lots of people are dead this chunk of chapters too. Like the dude, the guy that they find in the barrel that was like he's dead, and then like
the Fremen.
Yeah, like Idaho found the Fremen who died. And like there's a couple of other people who were dead. Yeah, in a room talking with the Duke, he had him on the room to learn a lesson as it affects the spice, I think.
Spices and everything. The food, the air.
You eat it.
I'm not sure where that is.
I don't remember reading that. I remember him telling him about the spice being everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's like after the meeting.
Maybe you're past us.
It depends on the edition. We got some Duncan Idaho in this.
Oh, we finally got our Duncan. Oh, babe.
We got some Stilgar.
We got some Stilgar as well. This was such a good chunk of chapters for me.
Stilgar was really, really cool, and I really liked how like the Fremen like show respect to other people, because like that scene was like I was like, oh shoot, are people gonna like shoot each other now? And then like Idaho was like, nah, y'all gotta chill. And then
even Leto was like, all right, like we're not going to unsheath this.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was really cool that like their sign of respect is because water is so scarce. Like the best thing you can do is like offer like your own like body moisture to another person. I was like, that was like such a small thing, but like I don't know, that really got me because it really puts into perspective like how dire and how like lacking in natural resources like Arrakis is.
Mm-hmm.
And the Atreides all getting mad when he spits on the table. They're like, "Oh, fuck you!" Like,
so, like the difference between, like sort of hierarchical, like, you know, like the royal family sense of like respect and propriety versus like the Fremen. He like storms in and spits on a table and he's like, "Hey, you, Duke of this whole planet, don't touch that knife."
Yeah, it was like, none of you are leaving this planet unless you're
fuck.
properly cleansed.
Mm.
Stilgar is so rigid. Like he's in a couple of books. Like spoiler, but he to me is like just like Gurney Halleck. There's something about him that you
he's a badass.
Yeah.
Mm.
He exudes it. Like when you talk about like big dick energy to like Duke, I feel like I'm gonna be like, yeah, Duke, but also like
Stilgar energy. So
Yeah.
when Idaho was talking about the Sage, am I saying that correctly? Sage?
The Siege? Yeah, I believe.
Oh, I am gonna fuck that up because I've been saying it the other way in my head.
It's just from the
years.
movies is what I got it from.
Siege?
Yeah.
Okay,
Siege
so
Tabar.
Really, Tabar, not Tabor?
That's the way they pronounce it in the movie. I don't care either way. I know what you're talking about.
You know, when you've read something for so many years, you have your own way of saying.
It's like
the Magneto thing. What is it?
It's like when you know words in your head, but you've never ever said them out loud, but you've read them a ton, and then you say it out loud, and then people are like, "Why are you saying that wrong?" And it's like, I would have never known.
Are you literate? But when Duncan's talking about that siege that he visited, and the person who is in charge of that siege has, what did he say, like 2,000 hearths, like 2,000 families. He's talking about Stilgar.
Yeah.
He's talking about his place.
And he's like, I imagine every siege is like that.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know.
Yeah, something of upwards of like 100,000 people live in like each of those. Like, did I read that right?
I thought it was 20,000 people, not families, but 20,000 people were in. I could be wrong.
He said hearths, so I thought that meant like homes.
That could be.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway. I just thought that was a really interesting. I was like, oh, we're dropping numbers now?
Yeah, it's a shit ton of people, and that's also just like the surface estimates that Duncan was able to get from like one visit to one siege.
Jessica finds that hidden room.
Ah, yes. Okay, so chronologically, we have Paul with the Hunter Seeker.
The hidden room.
The room that was designed to entice Paul. And it's funny that he says that. He's like, it's as if this room was designed for me. And then you find out like the next chapter that the room was designed for him.
And the conspiracy just keeps like growing and growing because now you have this note and everything else. Also, disdain from Gurney and Paul during that meeting when Leto said what he's going to do to the Harkonnen families, the people who were supporters.
He wanted. Oh, right.
Where Paul, like, his face just kind of contorts, and Gurney's doing the same thing. Where they're like, I don't think I like what you're doing. It's legal, but I don't like it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait, there were Harkonnen people that were...
They were supporters or something that were still on the planet.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to take their houses and...
Oh, yeah. Oh, and he's going to do it legally. He's going to get like, okay.
Yeah, I read that and I was like, no. I was like, listen, not very sexy of you.
Chess. We're playing checkers. We don't know. We don't understand the pressure he's under.
And then like he keeps talking and he's like, they tried to kill my son in his head.
Yeah, he kept repeating that. Which I actually kind of found endearing, not gonna lie. Although I think it's kind of weird that he never refers to Paul as Paul, but like I don't know if like I'm the only person that's bothered by that, but I kind of don't like it. He's like, they tried to kill my son, or when he's talking to Paul, he's like, son. And I'm like, dude, his name is Paul. What's with you?
There is this Irulan chapter starter here. Is like, it is said that Duke Leto blinded himself to the perils of Arrakis, that he walked heedlessly into the pit. Would it not be more likely to suggest he had lived so long in the presence of extreme danger he misjudged a change in its intensity? Or is it possible he deliberately sacrificed himself that his son might find a better life? All evidence indicates the Duke was a man not easily hoodwinked.
I loved
That's a
that,
good one.
and it pairs well with a future one where it's from a collection of sayings, where it says there is probably no more terrible instant of enlightenment than the one in which you discover your father is a man with human flesh.
Ooh.
That hit me. I was like, oh shoot, is he gonna die soon? I was like really scared we were gonna like read him dying, and I'm like, no.
Oh, bless your heart.
Oh, Gurney drops that quote. He goes, "My lungs taste the air of time blown past falling sands." Gurney keeps dropping like quote after quote.
It's how he talks. He speaks in limericks and rhymes.
Well, it's
Hard.
Didn't like Paul mention that like he was just like an amalgamation of like song lyrics and like poetry and
Gurney
stuff
the
like that.
Valorous.
And
Yeah.
like extreme skill at assassination.
Yes.
Like he
Sprinkle that on.
can kill, but he's got heart.
Oh yeah.
We also find out like the Harkonnens left every shit machine. Like everything's like wrecked.
And like their profits are going to be really poor for quite some time because of the state of things.
I did like during that meeting though, where Paul goes, "Hey, I hear that the sandworms can eat the crawler." And Leto's going,
Duke's like, damn it.
he's like, "Shut the fuck up, kid. Like, seriously." And then he goes, "That's
Have to
smart."
right now.
Like, they even go as far as like how Duke Leto's taking a walk. He's like, he takes a leisurely diagonal course across to the lift. And then as soon as like he gets up in the lift and it closes, he kind of like, oh, thank God.
They tried to kill my son. He's keeping it together. He's doing so well.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him.
So like a recap of like what happened before you like. So it's like Paul was almost assassinated. We go.
Yeah.
Jessica finds the room. Then
Hidden Bene Gesserit message.
She talks. Yeah, she sees the note, but then Mapes also comes in and talks to Jessica, which I thought that interaction was very intriguing. And then Paul goes into the room, and then we go to Leto, and then the meeting. And
Yeah.
Okay, so like that's all that happened.
They put suspicion on Thafir, where they're like, well, he's just old. He needs to be retired.
Yeah, even Thufir, like, or not Thufir. What's his name? How?
It's the same guy, Thafir Hawat.
Thafir Hawat.
That's how I say it in my head. I don't know if that's correct.
Okay, it's the same person. I'm dumb. Okay. So Thufir even mentions like when he's talking to Leto about like everything, and even Thufir's like, sometimes I do miss things though.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is this? I was like, this guy needs to get fired.
He's just self-deprecating.
Because they said he's hard on himself. Like they're like, oh no, he's punishing himself. You don't need to punish him.
Yeah, he's already doing it for you.
But then at the end, did I read too far, or does Thafir does
casting aspersions on Jessica?
Yeah, that note that they got from that messenger. Yeah. So Jessica is meant to be a suspect.
Yes.
To be this
everybody
them.
but the person who it is.
Oh my god, I wish I knew already. I wish it could be like, aha. I know that like in retrospective it'll like click, but like I don't like not knowing. Makes me very upset.
I'm glad you don't know yet. I'm glad we haven't accidentally fucked that up for you.
The most interesting thing I thought, at least commentary, is when the Duke's just exhausted and he's talking to Paul. He's like, I have the film thing. That factory's ready, so I can let the people know how well we're doing. And he's talking about using propaganda. And Paul's like, what the hell is he doing? Like, what's going on with him? And he just keeps going on and on. And Paul's just like, oh boy.
Because Leto is basically speaking like when I die, here are the things that you can like do. He even makes mention like, oh, like the Fremen like believe that you might be like their chosen like Messiah. And so, like, in a last-ditch effort, if you need to, like, you can use that to your advantage. And Paul is like, why are you talking like you're dying? And he's just like, oh, what do you not understand, my kid? Like, what is not clicking in your head?
Babies.
The Duke has that meeting and he has the people come in. He's like, well, gentlemen, our civilization appears to have fallen so deeply in the habit of invasion that we cannot even obey a simple order of the Imperium without the old ways cropping up. And everybody's just kind of like laughing, like, haha. He's like, yep, yeah, I just broke the tension.
Yeah, it's interesting that the meeting starts with Paul taking notice of him saying, it's like the right thing at the right time with like the right tone of voice to break the tension in the room. But then at the end of the chapter, when the meeting ends, Paul's like, oh, that ended badly. That ended with confusion.
Yeah. Sorry, I must say with my lighting. So like I can see my glasses glare.
I don't like my lighting is bad too, but I'm in a kitchen, so
I think it's interesting also because they spend time lionizing his father. And then Paul seeing the cracks forming of his father at the same time now of like, he's just a man. Like he's like the myth versus the reality where like his dad's literally like not sleeping, like stressed the fuck out.
Yeah, he can like see the bags under his eyes and stuff like that. Like his shoulders are slumped over. He's like tired and old.
And he's noticing the act.
I would hesitate to call it an act, and I would call it, I guess that works. I don't know.
Performance?
Yeah, it's a performance. Like it's an intentional sort of like behavior, you know, that he uses as a means of manipulation, basically, to get people to remain loyal to him and do the things that he wants them to do.
Yeah, there was that part in the meeting. Oh, I'm so sorry, Dan. You can
it's
go.
All right. No, go ahead.
The part in the meeting where when after they talk with Lufer and then he's like, okay, bring in my men. And he's like, wait, no. He's like, no, I don't care. And then he like Duke Leto lightens the mood by like having the right amount of exhaustion in his voice.
Yeah.
And like being just loud enough. And like Paul like caught onto it. He was like, hey, wait a second.
Playing him like a violin.
And we also go into the plans within plans where he's like, I'm going to send people to destroy the Harkonnen stockpile of spice.
Yeah, he wants to send people to Geidi Prime.
Yeah, and
man.
I need the Fremen, at least, I forget how many soldiers, so that when the Imperium eventually sends the Sardaukar dressed as Harkonnens, we will be able to overtake them and take prisoners so the Emperor knows we're not fucking around. And I'm just like...
so smart.
He's smart, and at the same time, like, there is a tiny bit of hubris.
I'll grant you that, yeah.
It's like he's aware that there are cracks in his plans, but he like refuses to believe that like that is truly his outcome. Like,
in that beginning of the chapter where they said he's dealt with extreme danger so much of his life that like he's not easily hoodwinked.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's foreshadowing, baby.
Yeah, we can already see a lot of this like spiderweb sort of thing, like from the message that Jessica got and from the message that Thafir intercepted, and all of the things that like the Duke already knows, like all of these things about the Sardaukar and like everything that they've done on the planet, all of these like sleeper agents that they've left here, these families, the way that they've like destroyed the stuff, and even like with he's like trying to get the smugglers and like the spice workers. So like you're really starting to get an idea of just like the overwhelming scale of like this endeavor, like everything that they're having to do to hoodwink the Duke. You know, it's not just like one or the other. Like, it's not just a traitor, and it's not just Sardaukar in disguises, and it's not just like stranding them on this planet with no water. It's so many things.
It seems like it seems like a Last Stand like battleground. Like it feels like, even
I
though it's like,
agree.
this is the beginning. I don't. This isn't even the first fourth of the book. We're almost a fourth of the way through, but like it feels like we're in like the ending conflict of like a movie. It's like watching like The Rise of Skywalker before you go to The Last Jedi. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like and I don't mean that in thematically. I don't mean that thematically. I think it literally feels like we're like watching this last battle, like right before the last battle starts. And I think that's crazy because like we're not even like at the halfway point, and like there's all of this intricacy, and like now he's worrying about the love of his life. Like, oh, why would she betray me? But like I don't think she would. But like maybe
he gets a
but,
little
like,
salty. He's like, 16 years. You investigated her. You investigated where we bought her from. Like, so what?
Hold your tongues, folks. Hold your tongues on this Leto suspecting Jessica, please.
And
My
I don't
man.
know, but it was really fun to read. Like I loved this, like moving the chess pieces.
That makes
like
me really happy that you've enjoyed it. I think it's interesting that you've said this feels like kind of like the rising action to the end of a story,
Mhm.
because I feel like the story hasn't begun yet. And this is just giving you like the bare bones information that you need for like the story of Dune to begin.
I'm not gonna lie. Like when Duncan Idaho shows up, I started my head picturing Jason Momoa showing up with Javier Bardem, spitting on the table.
Yeah, I don't picture Duncan Idaho as Jason Momoa when I read it.
No, I don't either. But just seeing that trailer, it popped in my head. I was like, that's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going, like, yeah, I'll have two masters, which was interesting. That Stilgar's like, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they don't. Oh man, they're still speculating on like who's Liette.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a huge deal too.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. I'm so glad we finally got Duncan. Like,
and then he disappears again for a while.
He's gone, right? He does the Duncan Idaho cameo.
He's like the Boba Fett of this series at the beginning, where like he comes in, he leaves, comes in again, and then leaves.
So important to the story on an extreme scale, but he's never in the book.
There is, I'm not gonna lie, the beginning of every chapter warms my heart.
Because of the Irulan quotes?
Yes.
You big sap.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, like, I kind of have like a weird standing for her.
That's fair. I mean,
it might be because of the TV movie, because the actress that played her was like incredibly adorable.
That's fitting. I mean, she's meant to be like a total babe.
And
like
a total bitch.
Yes. I don't think it comes up in this book, but it must be the next one.
Oh no, towards the end of the book, it very much comes in.
Does it? I mean, yeah, she's like a whole lot of woman, evidently.
Yeah. It's that Bene Gesserit training. Actually, this is a great comment that explains the beginning of this book.
Yeah, that's perfect.
For the storm. That's what I mean, though. It feels like this is the like something happens and then everything's just gonna go like downhill from here. Is how it feels
also,
to me.
We learned that the shield generators make the worms go into a killing frenzy.
Oh my god, yeah, but nobody like believes that. Like they're like, what's up with these people not using shields? And they're like, the Fremen think it's ridiculous that people want to use shields, and they're like, but why? I don't know, guys. Think about it for a moment.
And they say like the worms could cripple the factories, even eat them, the bigger ones. Like
worms sound scary.
They are. Like the way, like at a certain point in the book, they're going to describe in like great detail of what it's like when the worms attack.
I'm very excited.
You learn about why you, as my shirt says, walk without rhythm. Because any kind of rhythm draws them.
Are they like scarier than like watching horror movies with snakes in them? Like, is it akin to that? You know what I mean? Like when you like read about like
10-mile long snakes.
Yeah, spooky stuff. I don't know if actually no. Maybe I'm not excited.
You should be excited.
It is pretty epic, and there is a great Duke moment. in the first worm stuff that goes on.
I think every Duke moment is a great Duke moment.
If he doesn't like stab, like if he doesn't go inside a sandworm and like stabs his way out of it,
you do not understand how big these sandworms are.
Yeah, like, so upset. This isn't like someone punching out of Orochimaru's snake stomach. Like it's not that.
That's so upsetting.
These puppies are big. What can I compare it to? Like, I don't know, like if the biggest mammal on the planet, a blue whale, as we all know, was like 100 times bigger than it is.
And people
and all of its insides were just teeth.
And people just willingly like go around their ecosystems? That's insane.
I mean, it's like the whole planet. It's a desert planet. So it is kind of like whales because they just, scoot around under the sand.
Oh, I haven't read Ender's Game in a while, but
I don't know what
I haven't read Ender's Game or Game of Thrones, so I'll be the.
I'd say the politics in this, I'd say, are more involved than Game of Thrones because this is like strategy. This is like Game of Thrones dances around the plots, while this is like, oh no, this is what's fucking happening.
Oh, I think it's very like similar to the intensity of season 1's politics, because I think season 1 did the politics the best and it was like finite, and then it kind of just went.
I do like the Duke like muttering. He's like, I don't like the de-emphasis on shields on this planet. This is not. And then he's like thinking to himself, is this the Harkonnen secret? Does it mean we won't be able to escape on shielded frigates if it all goes against us? And then he just like shook it off. He's like, all right, let's get to work estimating. Like, what'll our profit figure be?
Yeah, they just really have no concept of like worms.
Like me. They're me. They're dumb.
Much like you. Once again, you are embodying our reading of Dune, our mascot.
Like
very own Kwisatz Haderach.
You know what was really fun to read though? Like reading how much Duke loves Jessica, even though we like haven't really gotten like Jessica Duke moments yet. Because like there's just so much political stuff happening. There's so much urgency to take care of things. I'm like, when are they gonna like do it? Like, do we?
Unfortunately, this is not a spoiler, but you don't get any hot, steamy Duke sex scenes in this book.
Well, that's why AO3 exists.
Yeah, you make your own fun on the internet is what you do. But I thought it was really cute when Jessica found the weirding room and she was like, was this a gift from my Duke? And then she's like, no, he's been too busy. He wouldn't have time. But like for a moment, she's like, did he build me this?
My Duke.
Because he would.
I always found it interesting how stiff the Duke is, but then there's those quiet introspective moments where he has this such like pride in Paul.
Yeah, he loves Paul. Like he's like, my son has matured so much.
But he doesn't
lately.
Express it. He doesn't really like outwardly express it, but internally he's just like, I'm so proud.
Mm-hmm. Like it's really interesting to have Lady Jessica previously described the duality of Duke Leto, and like with his chapters we see that introspection, but like we don't see those moments though. Like we there's
no time now.
Yeah, like the time has come and passed for like cute moments because they're prepping for everything to come.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that you have to sort of like absorb these things through like their comments now about, times that they have had before, or like the way that they speak to each other now, or like body language that they have now, even though there's not time for them to like be physically close.
Also with the plots within plots where they talk about the Harkonnens willing to pay $1 million for the Chris knife.
Oh my God, specifically because of Piter.
Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Hello, Fremen. I'm here to join you.
Just popped over from Siege Tower. Yeah. And I don't remember this from any of the other times I've read this book.
Either.
I didn't remember that they were specifically trying to buy, like, the worry was that they would get a crysknife, and then Piter could use it to infiltrate the Fremen.
Because he has blue eyes, because of the spice he
specific.
ingests.
Because he's a drug addict.
Yes, a man of devilish cunning, my lord. A man of devilish cunning.
Honestly, like, it's on them if Piter gets his hand on one of those. Like, he's someone to look out for.
For sure. I wish that we could have, like, an otherworld tale of, like, if Piter got the crysknife and, like, walked into a Fremen sage, like, yo.
Or maybe like,
like high as a kite.
What young ladies are here for me?
Yeah.
Like, I picture him being like an ecstasy dealer. Like, just high on his own supply constantly.
Yeah, I mean, I picture him as more of like a blue collar sort of drug user, like.
Not like the what was that movie with Macaulay Culkin playing the rave promoter?
Actually, I was gonna say he reminds me of like a 90s club junkie where like he shows up and he's like, I'm ready to go. And then like it like pans to like him at his job to like the next day and people are like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, can't talk about it, gotta do my work so I can go to the club later. Like that kind of like
Now I'm seeing Piter with glow sticks. Oh yes, I am all about the plur. Young people.
Hello, fellow kids.
Who wants a back rub?
Oh God, Piter.
Fremen, that's the guy who the Duke wanted Paul to observe.
So when they were still on Caladan, he mentioned to Paul
to observe the Fremen.
To like watch the Fremen basically because they could be their greatest allies.
And also the Reverend Mother also talks about how you have to learn the language of the planet, not the rocks, the stone, the people. Weirdly, I think that conversation with the Reverend Mother might be the most important conversation of this entire book. She gives a lot without saying anything.
She truly does. And that was like the majority of the trailer for the movie, right? Was that
yes.
chat?
My father has a planet. He'll lose it.
He's losing it. Shut up.
Well, he's got a rich planet. He's going to lose that too. Party Monster. It's the name of the movie.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Party Monster, right?
Yes, it's Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green.
That sounds fun. That sounds very fun, actually.
One of the guys has like a soda can in his head. Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it's based on a true story about a party promoter in New York who killed somebody, a drug dealer.
Ooh, fun. You know, what's like crazy to me is that like Duke casually like dropped to his kid that like he should marry his mom, but like he needs to like keep like negotiations open for like power, and that like, you know, like he has.
Did he tell Paul that?
Yeah. He goes maybe or was it through fear where he's like, I should have married her. Or I should marry her and legitimize her, but like this political thing.
He tells Paul, he's like, I should wed your mother, make her my duchess. Yet my unwed state gives some houses hope that they may ally with me through their marriageable dollars. He shrugs. And then Paul interjects and he's like, Mother has explained this to me already. Like, Paul is like, I already know, Dad. You don't even tell me your business.
There's an interesting line here where Paul's going introspective because for the first time, Paul allowed himself to think about the real possibility of defeat, not thinking about it out of fear or because of warnings such as that of the old Reverend Mother, but facing up to it because of his own assessment of the situation. My father is desperate, he thought. Things aren't going well for us at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. It hurt. It causes me physical discomfort. Those words.
Oh yeah, like there's and then at the end of our reading it says Paul swallowed in a dry throat. His father's words carried futility, a sense of fatalism that left the boy with an empty feeling in his chest. I'm like, bro, everyone's emo here. Everyone's going through it.
And also, like,
Truly, they are going through it.
he talks about his dad pacing up and down the length of the table like a caged animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
The old
It's
woman
'cause-
seems so sure of herself, and the message, "Mother, precautions have been taken." And he just shuts him down, like, just shut up, Paul. I don't want to talk about this.
I think the caged animal as he's walking up and down the like basically like where their meeting table, I guess, like where they talk about like strategy and stuff like that, was really interesting because I feel like it gives so much of that saying a lot of like the sense that like there's an entire outside world and you're so preoccupied with what's in front of you that you're like not even aware of like what's about to happen.
Oh my God, something just hit me.
What?
So it goes back to what the Reverend Mother said. Are you a human or are you an animal?
Mm.
And something the Duke does later on, where she talks about you gnaw your own arm off to escape.
I don't know what's happening now.
Nah, I mean we should jot that down to talk about it again.
Yeah, it's just something that hit me. I was like, that's interesting. And the way they italicized the caged animal part in the text is what, like, I don't know if it's meant to stand out to you. Like, it is literally written in a different font from the rest of the everything else.
Isn't that because it's Paul's inner monologue? Like, isn't all of the stuff that's like inner monologue written like that?
Maybe I'm just noticing it now.
I think it's all in italics.
Oh, okay. You might be right.
Yeah, it is.
Like thoughts are in italics specifically, not just Paul's or just the Duke, but it's like whenever it's someone's thoughts, they're italicized.
Paul stared at the place where his father had stood. The space had been empty even before the Duke left the room. And recalled the old woman's warning. For the father, nothing.
Boo.
Oh, this is...
Yeah.
Are there any Aaron Sorkin style monologues or anything that would be incredible in this poet's hands? A Sorkin walk and talk.
I know nothing.
Madi. And then realizing that's Bene Gesserit Messiah.
Oh, that was in this bit. This is what Thafir told him after he told him about the note. Ay. Maybe I am still jet lagged.
It's fair. It's valid. Like, you didn't sleep for what, 2 days, 3 days? Like, at least it's either like, I finally slept. I'm a human.
Yeah, it's so weird because the time zone I switched like day for night, you know? So
that's why I was like, good luck, human.
It's nighttime for you right now. When it's usually 9 in the morning for you.
I was telling Dan earlier, I just realized, I think last night, that I had to do this on Monday because I always do it on Tuesday. And time is
it's so wild.
Yeah. I'm in the same time as Jen now.
Yeah. Oh, I had to hear, like, did the stream yesterday or the day before, and she's like, Sid's like 3 hours away. I'm just going to tell her to drive down here, and I'm just going to kidnap her. She's never coming to Florida. I was like, that's unkind.
That's fine, Jen. That's fine for me. I pledge my allegiance to you.
I am not okay. It's a 400 square foot apartment. I'm just telling you now.
Hey, I can compact. I don't eat much.
I was like, Jen, I will hunt you down. She's like, well, then you come to Portland too. I was like,
I mean, she has a point.
Jen is a mastermind. She's like already counting on you driving over there, and then she's going to kidnap you.
She's investing in our future.
Yeah.
But then I get to watch you deal with Bradford, like kicking him out of the room.
I don't know why you don't understand that cat's going to be my best friend.
Oh, he will. He's just going to want to like stay like right on top of you on the bed and walk back and forth the blinds because that's what he does.
He's a protective gargoyle. What more do you need?
Yeah.
Gambit said once again he was going to try and be on the show, and then we told him how many pages we were. He goes, "Yeah, no."
Put it together, Gambit.
I was like scared. I was scared that I wasn't going to get the reading done because it seemed like a lot, but it just like the chapters.
It went fast.
So it went, and like a lot of stuff was happening that I was just like eating it up. I was like, this is like popcorn. It's like popcorn reading.
Jen had to go off-world.
Yes,
on a reconnaissance mission.
She's doing plans within plans within plans.
Yeah.
She is watching, but she's kind of laid up with some back pain, and I think she was burned out too. On top of that, so it's valid.
Her spirit is flowing through us. Mm-hmm. I feel it deeply.
We talk about Dune to re-energize her.
All she needs is some spice.
If only we had a planetary ecologist, then we would really get the Jen experience.
Speaking of which, like the last lines of the last that we had to read was like, "Where's this damn ecologist?" And I was like,
"A good question, indeed."
Yeah, where he's like, "Who is this Liet?" Like, wait, Kynes? That's the person the Imperium's sending. Wait, hold on. Who has two masters? Where did we hear two masters before?
Duncan has two masters.
And I do like how he's like, the Duke's like, take some Idaho's men, like, go take care of this, find these outposts. And he's like, I don't think we should do that. I think that might piss the Fremen off.
Yeah, luckily people are advising him against that.
Yeah. And he's like, well, at least just go see if they exist. And they're like, I don't know if we should do that either.
Maybe not. But yes.
I like that, like, I like that, like, as someone who knows anything about, like, history and, like, the ideas of, like, imperialism and, like, colonialism, and they're, like, offering these ideas, and everyone around them's just like, maybe you shouldn't. And they're like, but what if we did? I'm like, no. Why are you like this?
I also like when Thufir puts the, aspersions of Jessica, where Leto's like, Lady Jessica? And he felt anger consuming him. He's like, couldn't you bring the facts out of the guy? He's like, he died. He's like, oh. And they just keep going, and he's like barking at him. There's a mistake here and he's like, can't ignore it. Like, we got to talk about this. He's just getting angrier and angrier.
He's going through a lot. Give him a break, Dan.
Oh, no, I'm just...
Rip to Leto, but I'm different.
And he's like, she'd have moved long before now. Poison in my drink, a stiletto at night. And he's like, Thufir's like, the Harkonnens mean to destroy you, my lord. No matter which way, like, they're going to hurt you and kill you.
I love that line definitely implies that Lady Jessica gets out of her, like, Bene Gesserit, like, fucking drinks and, like, dresses up for Duke Leto, like, a stiletto. Like, I don't think these space witches are allowed to run around in heels.
I believe they mean stiletto knife, not, like, stiletto heels.
I think it's a kind of dagger, but I love where your mind is.
Although I could see a Bene Gesserit having heels with a blade in them.
Well, because, like, he was like, if there was any one person, like, well, it's because, like, the tone of it, he was like, if there was any one person that could. There definitely
is an implication of sexy times. You are not wrong in that.
I was like, oh.
You hit that nail on the head.
They're skilled in the arts of seduction.
Mm-hmm.
I also like where he's like, wait, these people think Paul is this Messiah?
And then he's like, okay. This is fine.
If that gets me people, okay. Paul, I need you to go out in the desert.
Come here, boy.
Although that is interesting, that one thought, because that's the first time that we see Leto think of his son as like more than just like his kid and like as a tool to be utilized when needed. I thought that was an interesting thing of note. At least to me, that kind of was like the first very firm affirmation that like, oh yes, I will use my son when needed in this giant like space game.
Here's a paragraph of just Big Duke energy. where he's like,
Listening.
anger shot through him. The Harkonnens have hindered and hounded and hunted me for the last time. He thought, they are dung heaps with village provost minds. Here I make my stand. And then he thought with a touch of sadness, I must rule with the eye and the claw, like we said before. As the hawk among lesser birds, unconsciously his hand brushed the hawk emblem on his tunic. And then there's a sentence here that I have never heard this word used outside of like kind of derogatory, where he said, to the east, the night grew a faggot of luminous gray. And I'm like, it's a weird word to use, and maybe, but yeah, they use faggot in there. I was like, what's going on here? And I don't know if there's another meaning to that word, because I've only heard it as the one version.
I do know that it is like a slang for like European slang for like cigarettes and stuff like that. So I thought that meant, I thought it was just like, I like the lighting of like the sun. It was like bright, like a lit cigarette.
Maybe. And then seashell opalescence that dim the stars, and he gets all like poetry about the sky.
Yeah, I thought it was in reference to like the light. Like to fire.
So I took that as like a faggot is a bundle of sticks that you light on fire to like start a bigger fire. Like it's like kindling. Okay,
like again, like I was just like going through and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, so when I read that, I thought of it as like a like spark of like light or a spark of color in the sky was like my interpretation of it.
And this is that moment also on this page where it's like, it's a beautiful morning, Sire's like, yes, it is. And then all of a sudden the plants get run over and everything. He goes,
and he's like, I hate everything.
He's so tired. He needs a nap.
He goes, like, this is a hideous place.
He needs rest.
He was literally like, wow, you know what?
He's like, maybe.
And then he's like, no.
This is trash.
No. He's not.
He needs a nap.
The last chapter, it starts with the Duke saying to Paul, I'm doing a hateful thing, but I must. And that's like the first sentence of the page, and I'm like, wow, okay. As these poison snoopers going through his food.
He's going through it, man.
That reminds me that there was another aspect. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it was the last chapter that we read, where after it's on the same page of like, I'm doing a hateful thing later on at the end. Like when Duke is like telling him about how like he's like remembering that like people are calling him like the Mahadi, and then he says the memories touched his feelings of terrible purpose, shading the strange world with sensations of familiarity that he could not understand. It was like, again with this.
I didn't read this chapter. I see now why I've been so confused for this whole discussion. I thought this was the next. I thought the one before was the last one.
Oh,
so I stopped on this one.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry for my confusion earlier.
It's okay. But there's a thing in here where the Duke goes, the Harkonnens think to trick me by making me distrust your mother. They don't know that I'd sooner distrust myself.
That's my fucking Duke.
That's what I mean. Is like I love how humanizing the Duke is made to be with his sense of like adoration and love for like Jessica and Paul, despite him not being able to like showcase that because he has to be this bigger person, this stoic character.
Paul goes, you might as well distrust me.
I love a son defending a mother and a man defending his woman. But I would also say that, like, it's been mentioned a couple times in the book that Duke Leto arouses the loyalty of good men and good people through, like, his attitude and his actions. So I'd say he also has, like, deep affection and appreciation just for, like, his men, like for Gurney and Thafir and Duncan. Like, he obviously has respect and care for them.
So filling in more of this, the Duke's like, well, we're going to go along with this and be a sham, but your mother can't know it's a sham. Like, I need to, act this the whole way through. And he's like, but sir, why? Your mother's response must not be an act. Oh, she's capable of supreme act. But too much rides on this. I hope to smoke out a traitor. It must seem that I've been completely cozened. She must be hurt this way, that she does not suffer greater hurt.
Stressing me out.
And he's like, why are you telling me this, Dad? Like, maybe I'll give it away.
Why are you telling me this, Dad?
And he's like, oh, they won't watch you. You'll keep the secret. You must. This way, if anything should happen to me, you can tell her the truth. That I never doubted her, not for the smallest instant. I should want her to know this. And then Paul recognized the death thoughts in his father's words, spoke quickly. Nothing's going to happen to you, sir. And he tells him to shut up. He's like, be silent, son.
Yeah, like, be quiet.
And then he says, like, he stares at his father's back, seeing the fatigue in the angle of his neck, in the line of the shoulders and the slow movements. He's like, you're just tired, Dad. He's like, I am tired.
He needs a nap. How many times?
He's morally tired. The melancholy degeneration of the great houses has afflicted me at last, perhaps. And we were such strong people once. And
Can I just say, the fact that he is taking the time to, just in case he dies quickly and violently, to make sure that Paul understands why he's doing this to Jessica. That way, if the worst happens, she'll at least know the truth about how he felt about her. Big Duke energy all over the place. He didn't have to do that.
No, but it's wonderful that he did.
Right. And he has to take into account, like, his own mortality for all of this.
Here's the line. He faces his son, revealing dark circles beneath hard eyes, a cynical twist of the mouth. I should wed your mother, make her my duchess. Yet my unwedded state gives some houses hope that they might yet ally with me through their marriageable daughters. So
This is just so good. Like, this is why we read it so fast, because, like, the Duke is just so interesting, and there's so much being dumped on us through.
It feels like a deathbed confession.
That's what I mean. Is like that's why I like it feels firmly.
You didn't have to say that, but okay.
Since, like,
and he keeps saying, "I'm tired. I'm so tired."
He's tired.
He's like, my propaganda corps is one of the finest. There's greater possibility for us here on Arrakis than the Imperium could ever suspect. Yet sometimes I think I'd have been better if we'd run for it, gone renegade. Sometimes I wish we could sink back into anonymity among the people, become less exposed.
Aww.
I don't want you guys to, like, hate me, but, like,
be a runaway.
When is he gonna die? Like, I need to be very emotionally prepared for that.
There's a party still to go where we meet Princess Irulan and Shaddam the Emperor. Like, I kept thinking we're gonna get to that.
Do I have a while to go? Like, at least, like, is it?
I'll say
soon?
nothing. I'll not speak on this.
I need to know. I'm gonna be very sad. I might cry.
If I had a guess,
experience it naturally.
If I had a guess, it's right before the end of this, what they call the chapter Paul. So somewhere around 320, the 300s, I believe we get to it.
All right, I'll mentally prepare for that.
Because book one ends at 322.
Though you may try,
you can't run from fate.
You cannot prepare for such a thing.
Your great and terrible purpose.
I'm like Duke. I'm just. Nothing's gonna get me.
He knows better than that.
One of Sid's greatest quotes is going to be coming up when that happens. There's a screaming line that happens.
Oh, I'll be shouting it for days.
I'm very excited.
I started watching Children of Dune again for some reason. I got home from work and yes.
That has the guy,
James
the
McAvoy.
Xavier guy. Yeah,
James McAvoy. He's playing Leto the Second.
You know, that kind of works.
But people keep like screaming, "Cursed be the name Atreides."
Well, I mean, kill them.
But
for saying such a thing.
It has the very beautiful actress playing Alia, Saint Alia of the Knife.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Children of Dune is when she gets a little wackadoo as well.
Oh, like eventually we get to a character named Alia. She is fucking nuts.
She's in this book.
Yes.
Oh, I've decided I love her now. Thank you.
They call
we
her,
all do. We
they
all
call
love
her
her.
Abomination.
I love her.
She's
we have to stand a queen.
We have no
Like,
choice.
she's an awesome character. So we are right at the hour mark. I know that you wanted to jump off at an hour.
Yes, thank you. I've commandeered my friend's kitchen, so I must return it.
I also think we are at a good stopping point. I think we talked about a lot. We missed some of Jen's interjections, which I think she probably passed out. So hopefully we'll have her next week. How many chapters do we want to do this next?
So I'm going to spit something out. That's going to sound a little crazy. But the way that I read is I always read like up to the, like, if I read something, I usually sit down and try to read 50 pages. And if I can't read 50 pages, I'll read 100 pages. And I usually always stop at those intervals. So like we're at 170 and we could stop at like 250. And that's not 100 pages. That's what?
80 pages?
80 pages. And we just read what, like 76? 64. So I think that would be a good stopping point. Personally,
I thought you were going to say let's read to 322 and get to the end of the Duke.
It's just that, like, I don't know why, but I have like a really big like I want to like stop as close to those like mile marks as possible, and then there is a chapter break that's at 256 that says, "Do you wrestle with dreams?"
Hold on, let me write it down because I have the ebook and everything is confusing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first line of the chapter that we won't read? Can you tell me that?
Do you wrestle with dreams?
Okay, perfect. Good looking out, guys.
God. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm trying to.
I do wrestle with dreams.
I just looked at where. Oh, my God.
Did I pick out bad chapters? No.
I was looking at like what exactly is going on there, and
speak not. Shh. Don't speak.
No. But we start getting to the good stuff.
So big brain moves. Oh. Yes.
No, in that next chapter that we're stopping at.
Shoot.
No, just beyond your suggestion. Yeah.
But no,
Okay, cool.
The intrigue starts like really like clawing in.
Oh man!
All right,
this rising action sure is rising.
Oh my God! I think by that end, I think when we hit that page, I think we'll officially be a fourth of the way through.
And Sid will be done edging.
Never.
Never.
Not as long as I shall live. We're going way fast, especially now that the movie got pushed back.
Yeah.
So maybe we can throw Dune Messiah in here.
We could probably.
Why not?
It depends. It depends where Sydney is with it. Where she's like, I need to keep going.
Yeah, it would be all dependent on whether or not. So far, I'm liking this book, and I'm really liking it. But like, what if I just turn out to just fucking hate it by the time it finishes?
That's fair. We'll see.
Does that happen to people, or are people like really into it and they read the end of it and then they're like
most people that finish it really like it.
So weirdly, where we're past is where most people quit.
Oh, actually, we're already. Oh shoot, I don't. How do we look at
What's
this?
that?
This is Goodreads, right?
Okay.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, and then I put in for the edition that we have, like the page 171, and it says we're 25% through the book.
Oh, right, because a lot of that volume in the back is going to be the dictionary, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
Yes, right. A lot. The appendixes, the dictionary. Yeah.
That's so much. I didn't.
It's awesome that there's that many words that just need to be defined in this book.
Oh, shoot. Did you know there's maps in here? What the heck?
There's maps in there. Yeah, girl, get your map on. Get your geology going.
She's going to start tabbing. Where's Siege Tabar?
Very, very cool.
Okay, awesome. So we'll stop at wrestling.
What page was that again? Let me mark it down.
Wrestling.
256.
Our numbers
I put
even
a sticky tab in it.
Well, no, I just wanted to dog ear it so I know like that's where I stop.
Yeah, 256, at least for this edition.
I dog-eared every chapter so that way like I could switch to the chapter real fast.
That's smart. I'd dog ear my iPad if I could.
But you can bookmark it though with the iPad on iBooks.
Well, I guess you're right.
You could also use that
If I
keyword
was a
thing because
smarter person, I might do that.
I went on the other day just out of curiosity because I was looking up something for a tattoo and I looked up terrible purpose and how many times it comes up in the book.
Ah, that's fun.
I need to know that later. Not now, but later. Because we still read
Okay,
that.
cool. I'm gonna go.
Yep.
Then
Thank you
return my
everybody
pen.
for joining us. Catch
for
us next
having
week
us.
at 10 o'clock. Always a pleasure talking Dune with you guys. And until next time, so long, farewell. Avita said goodbye.
Good night, everyone.